an app focused on reading for preteens. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us is Kate Clairmont, founder of Readwell. Hi, Kate.
Hi there, Fred.
Well, this app is not available just yet, but it's something that you've been working on as a graduate student in English at Princeton University and have gotten a boost from the Keller Center there. It's an accelerator. Tell us about the app and what your goals are here.
Yes, so the app isn't available yet because we just started working on it in June. So it's a very new company and it's a new app. Basically, the goal with the app was that through my research in children's literature and other projects that I work on, I got really interested in the e-reading space for kids. And I noticed that there was a really big problem and a gap in the marketplace for preteen readers. And so I was looking at what kids are reading these days, how they're reading, and I also was coming across really depressing statistics about literacy rates, even to the extent that actually 60% or more of adults still read at a high school reading level. There's something, in the US, I forget the exact statistic, but basically I was just looking a lot into this problem of literacy and the way that we're reading nowadays. And when I looked at the products on the market for e-reading, I noticed that a lot of them had AI generated stories or that kind of material. And they also had a lot of ads or games or distractions on the apps. And so I felt like there was space for a better product for e-reading. And that's kind of how I came up with the idea. So basically the Readwell product, which I can talk about at, in a minute, but the Readwell product offers e-reading, e-books, and it's a curated quality library that's curated by librarians, scholars, teachers, and parents. And it's really intended to improve reading levels and the quality of what kids are reading in the preteen age group.
It's interesting. I think you found an underserved niche here because there's so much out there for little ones who are learning to read, so many different apps and programs that parents are concerned with, and kids get a good start perhaps, but then when they get to be, 9, 10, 11, there's not anything that's, engaging for them. And I guess that's what you found.
Exactly. So that's right, Fred. So there's a lot of saturation in the market of early reader apps, so kids learning to read. But actually that preteen age group, the 8, 9, 10, 11 that you mentioned, is when kids become statistically lifelong readers or not. So we wanted to target that age group and really hone in for that age to see if we could offer a product that would get kids excited about reading and that would engage them, because the number one reason that kids don't read more is that they can't find material that they're excited about or that is engaging for them. So we wanted to be able to offer really great material through the ebook format.
Well, tell us how you went about finding the kinds of books and material that are going to get the kids engaged and become these lifelong readers.
So basically, in my expertise as a PhD candidate in English, I obviously have a lot of knowledge about the kinds of material, and that was what got me into the tech side of things, because I was excited about children's literature, having researched it and having helped teach and been a preceptor for one of the most popular classes at Princeton, which is called Children's Literature, English 336. There are usually over 300 Princeton undergrads enrolled in the class. And it's basically a survey course of history of children's literature. And so I was seeing and interacting with a lot of really great and interesting materials. And in addition to that, through my dissertation research, I come across a lot of fairy tales and other materials and archives that aren't published, but that are within the public domain. And so that was one way that I was thinking about the materials. But ideally, what we're hoping for with the Readwell app as we continue to work on it is that it's going to it's going to have 50% children's classics and the best of the classics that are kind of curated for our audience, as well as 50% new proprietary original material. So I've been also working with creative writers to create original new pieces of content as well.
That's terrific. So this is different, from the long Harry Potter series or the Lord of the Rings and other books of that ilk, I suppose, that have attracted these middle school kids before, right?
Yeah, so you've identified exactly the types of middle grade reading that has gotten certain generations really excited about reading. So in addition to, we can't offer those books by copyright, but we really target kind of shorter fiction is the types of books that we currently have on the app. We also have some longer titles, classics you might be familiar with, such as Alice in Wonderland or other longer texts. So yeah, exactly. It's really the intention of the app is to get middle grade readers excited about the material and to show them that there is really great material out there. And the app really emphasizes quality over quantity, because in the ebook space, there's a lot of decision fatigue, since a lot of the apps offer so many choices for kids that they often sit there like many of us on Netflix or on other types of apps, feeling daunted by having to make a choice. And so we really have identified key genres and key texts, and we keep it to a limited number of texts so that it's easier to navigate and figure out what you would want to read next.
So step us through how you envision the app working. Will kids actually be reading on the app itself?
Yeah, so it's a pretty, it has a really intuitive and standard UX UI design. Evidently, the kids in this age group are all digital natives, so they're really familiar with using these kinds of apps. But we also wanted to optimize our UI UX, since a lot of the other competitors out there kind of have a little bit of a more confusing or less streamlined UX design. So basically it's a standard e-reading app. It has ebooks that you can change the background color, the font size, so you can personalize it and adapt it for your reading style. And in addition to that, we really wanted to make the stories accessible to as wide an audience as possible. So we also offer audiobooks for all of our titles. And that comes with like different tiers of membership. But you can even listen to a book while you're reading it, which studies show improve its literacy significantly, and is one of the ways to really improve literacy in general, and especially for that age group. And we also offer keywords and genres. So you can click on genres that are particularly exciting to you, or you can search based on a keyword. For example, a kid who's really excited about dragons or I don't know, alligators can just search that keyword, and we've developed a tagging system. We already have, I think, over 700 keywords tagged, so that based on the interest of the kid, they can really look for a title that would be exciting to them.
And will there be more than just the text of the books? What other kinds of content or are you looking at including here?
For now, we're really looking at starting out with mostly books and audiobooks, but we'll see where we go from there as we build.
Will there be questions or other content, that kind of thing, to get the kids thinking about what they've read, that type of thing?
Yeah, that's some of the directions we're thinking about going, but we initially just wanted to offer them the experience of, since kids are reading digitally more and more, of having a really great digital reading experience with both great choices and a really great UX UI design.
So step us through how it will work. The kids would download the app, and then there's a subscription involved, which I guess
Yes.
the parents might get involved with. Do you
Yes.
have a target for when this might come about and what the pricing might be?
So basically, there would be a basic, a standard, and a premium in terms of the subscription rates, but exactly that. You would download the app and you would be able to have a limited access for a free trial, either like a limited quantity of books or a limited amount of time that you can preview the contents. And then based on the subscription level you choose, you would have access to either, solely the classics children's literature, or a more premium subscription would consist of the original proprietary content that we produce as a part of the app. Right now, we are trying to code the back end of the app, and as a full-time PhD student, I have a lot on my plate, so we can't announce the exact rollout of when it will be available on the App Store, but you can certainly find us on our website and sign up for updates to see when you would be able to download the app as soon as it's ready.
That's terrific. What is the website people can go to?
It's www.letsreadwell.com.
Terrific. What have you learned? I mean, you hinted at some just a second ago. What have you learned through this whole experience in trying to do this?
So as somebody, I used to work in tech startups, and my first job out of college, I was a second grade teacher. And then my second job out of college, I was working at an e-learning software startup in Zurich, Switzerland. So I think it was really exciting for me to be able to work on a product where I could work at the intersection of my interests, technology, the arts, education. And I had a lot of optimism about the project. I still do. Definitely being able to manage the app and the project. And I didn't realize how complex it was going to be to build this app. So that's been one learning for sure. In addition to the fact that, all the research that my team and I have done about literacy rates and about the products out there, it's been really interesting for me because it's not necessarily, I don't, focus exclusively on children's literature and that education level, or that area of education, since I teach at the undergraduate level. So learning about that has been really interesting, especially, seeing how kids' literacy rates dropped after COVID and the way that people are really reading more and more online. And as somebody who loves the physical product of books, I spend my time in archives a lot of the time, transitioning towards a more tech-based way of reading, it really fascinates me, even though I will always emphasize that the physical book is a really amazing thing that we can never replace. So I guess in terms of that and in terms of my personal interest, it's been really exciting to work on, as well as the fantastic resources we got access to through the Keller Center, and having to think commercially about some of my research and other interests.
Terrific. Once again, the website, if you can give it to us.
Sure, www.letsreadwell.com.
Letsreadwell.com. Well, congratulations on what you're doing there, and we look forward to seeing the finished product. Kate Clairmont, thank you for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred.